it was cool seeing races that were really like steep and technical. I mean, of the probably 30 people that supported me on that day, probably 25 of them I'd never met before. It was really cool to see a culture of racing that was a little bit more low key and then also kind of happened at all distances.
Excellent. If you can remember back when Finley Wild was on stage, we talked about the American runner, Jack Kuenzle, that came over. Many of you will know about the success he had this summer when he was over here. He was living in a Mazda Bongo. If any of you are familiar with a Mazda Bongo, it's not the most comfortable place to be living. He set his sights on the Transfors round, Finley's Transfors round record in Scotland, and managed to take a fair chunk off that, beating Finley's best time by 14 minutes. Then he set his sights on the Bob Graham round in England, the premier round. I checked on the website, actually, 2,500 people have done the Bob Graham round in under 24 hours. The record set 4 years ago was by Kilian Jornet, widely respected as the world's best mountain runner, and Jack Kuenzle set his sights on beating that record and succeeded in spectacular fashion. He took 28 minutes off Kilian Jornet's best time around the Bob Graham. So we were lucky enough to catch up with Jack Kuenzle for an online interview, and here it is. Hello, welcome Jack Kuenzle. Welcome to Kendal Mountain Festival.
Hey, sweet, thank you. Looks a lot like the inside of my friend's house, but
nice one. Thanks so much for doing this. It's great to have you with us, even from a distance. You had such a successful summer, set records on the Transfors round, and probably more well known on the Bob Graham round. Stunning achievements. I wanted to ask though, you're from the Eastern United States. And I know you've done a lot of running out there, but what attracted you to come over to the UK this summer?
I think I had heard about the Bob and the Transfor and the rounds first when Kilian broke the Bob record back in July 2018. And then subsequently, I think it just kept coming up in social media, John Kelly over there racing all of them. So it was on my mind. It was always something I kind of thought about doing like way down the road because breaking a record that Kilian had seemed ridiculous, but I was going to go race in the Western U.S. this year, and I was worried about smoke racing late in the summer, so I figured, my dad is a pilot for Delta Airlines, and I could fly pretty cheaply, so I was like, hey, why not go over and give the Ramsey is what I was kind of focused on initially, and then I had to purchase so much car insurance to even use my Mazda Bongo for a month, and it was like 200 pounds a month, so I was going to stay for 3 months, and so I figured I'd give the Bob a shot too.
Excellent, great, yeah. Well, I know you preferred the Transfors. The Transfors cuts out 5 of the least pleasurable Munros from the Ramsey round. How was your experience on the Transfors round then? Because it's not that well known, really.
Yeah, I mean the Transfor is incredible. I mean, I tell people it's like probably from a pure running perspective and a pure outdoor perspective, that's like my favorite route I've ever done. But no, it's beautiful. It's like incredible running. It's like great underfoot. And it's like, there's only a couple of boggy sections. And so, no, I love the Transfor. And it's also like very kind of wild and remote. Not a ton of people out there. There's no crossings. And it's just a kind of a different style from the Bob. But no, I love the Transfor. Yeah.
Excellent. I've got a feeling it might become a little bit more popular now after your efforts. You, of course, you went the day after Finley. He knocked some time off at his record. I just find it really interesting thinking of you kind of just about to get a good night's sleep before your effort. Then you see the update on Strava that he's knocked even more time off. How was that?
It was horrifying because I had like practiced and studied so much his 9-hour flat splits from 2020. That I was like very, very comfortable with those. And I, physically made a card that had them all written down and everything. And then all of a sudden he cut 8 minutes off, and I had to go through and kind of not only like, come up with all the splits again, but kind of compare his 2 efforts and figure out like where exactly he went faster and what it would kind of mean for me. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of exciting. So I think that sort of like, acute back and forth, like real time is a little bit unusual with FKT. So that was kind of, it was almost a little bit closer to a race.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, moving on to that, I know that kind of challenges are something that you like against the clock. Rather than toe-to-toe racing, I was wondering if you could explain kind of what it is about the rounds and long-distance records that appeals to you.
I think I really like the idea of like trying to get like a perfect effort on a set of given terrain, and because FKTs you can pick your own conditions, and obviously when you do it and everything, and you have more agency to like pick equipment and nutrition and everything. And because you're trying to go for the fastest time possible, it just really draws towards like mastering a route and like committing to a route 100% and trying to get like the best out of yourself. Whereas like a race, you're just like, you're just showing up and you're just trying to be the fastest person that shows up on that day. Because often, course records are set in, perfect or abnormal conditions. A lot of times, like there's a lot of races in the U.S. that are heat races, and so the course records are consistently set when it's the coldest. So,
I can see that. Yeah. So you enjoy the process and the extra challenge, putting all the pieces together, yeah?
Yeah. I think so. In some ways, it's a little bit less. In some ways, it's more stressful because you're trying to go for perfection, but in other ways, it's a little bit less stressful because you already know who you're racing against exactly. You know what time the previous person did on the course. You know exactly what you need to do on race day, unless Finley races it the night before. So
great. Now I remember 4 years ago, Kilian came over and got the record. Billy Brand's record had stood for, you would know, is it 37 years?
Yeah, I think 36, 82 to 2018, I think.
36 years. And I remember when Kilian took a big chunk of time off Billy's record, I thought that would be another generation. And so did, I would say, most people over here thought it'd be another generation. And your outstanding effort really was something special. You took 28 minutes off Kilian's time on the Bob Graham, which is absolutely amazing. I wanted to just ask you about that. How was the experience for you? How did the support go as well?
Well, I wish I could be as confident as you, as like how long some of these records will stand. I mean, if someone went and broke it next summer, I wouldn't be shocked. No, the support was great. And like, honestly, I think that's what makes the Bob so fantastic. Is like the Transfer is really cool. It's like a running route, but it's a very personal experience with nature. Whereas like this is like a really, really cool kind of like community centric experience, starting and finishing in Keswick and requiring all the support, which I think really makes it fun. And I think looking back on it, that's what I kind of think about the most, coming over, not even being from the UK and having all these people, there were people who drove, Donnie Clark, I know at least drove from a couple hours away. I know at least Matt Atkinson had a race that weekend that he didn't go to or was not well prepared for by supporting me. People took off work on that day because it ended up being a Friday. So, I was really touched. And I mean, of the probably 30 people that supported me on that day, probably 25 of them I'd never met before. So like the first time I met them was when, they met me out on course and gave me water, or I linked up with them in a road crossing to pace me. So, no, that was super fantastic. Yeah. So that was really, really cool.
I'm sure they all had a day that they won't ever forget. Really, it sounded really frantic. What was happening.
Yeah.
It sounded absolutely brilliant. Finally, I just wanted to ask, your impressions of the fell running scene in the UK. You seem to me quite a good fit for the fell running scene in the UK in quite a few different ways. What were your impressions of it?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I loved how low key a lot of the races kind of were. It was cool seeing races that were really like steep and technical. Whereas I think a lot of times in Europe, maybe they may be fairly steep and technical, but they're all on trail. And then in the US, like the races a lot of times are so manicured and groomed, the courses they're on. Yeah. A lot of the races in the US and Europe have become such huge, like, media productions, and it was really cool to see a culture of racing that was a little bit more low key, and then also kind of happened at all distances. It was sub ultra, some ultra stuff. So no, I loved it, and I think really interesting to see kind of the choose your own adventure kind of route finding that exists, where you don't it's not always a set course. You're just kind of linking together different peaks and optimizing kind of the terrain for your skill set, which I think is really cool. I talked to Billy Bland about coming over and doing Wasdale and Borrowdale. So I don't know, maybe someday. I went and looked at the courses. I thought they were honestly, I felt they were kind of boggy and a little too off trail for me. But I mean, that's super cool. Langdale, those records have just stood for so long. So
yeah. You'd love them. I mean, there's such a history to those races, down. They're all 40, 50, 60-year history. They're fantastic courses, absolute classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Well, we're going to wrap up shortly, but I have a nice surprise for you, Jack. You didn't know about this. So if I pan around there, you will definitely recognize this person.
Oh my God. Martin Stone.
Jack, good to see you.
In the flesh.
Have missed you so much and all your banter. And you're not coming back till 2024?
Yeah, we'll see.
That's very disappointing. We'll be back next year. Anyway.
Well, let me just say, Martin probably, other than, I'd like to think I put in more time into this Bob thing than Martin did, but it was probably close because Martin was absolutely instrumental in getting pacers and support on that day and eating all of Tori's pastries. He was there every step of the way.
Yeah. He's the fixer for sure. Yeah.
He's the fixer. No, absolutely.
Anyway,
and I'm so indebted to everybody, and especially Martin. So thank you. Yeah,
we loved it. Hey Jack, I need to tell you why I'm here. So basically, it's about the FRA's, the Fell Runners Association Long Distance Award. So the award's been going since 1987, when I actually first won it, and since then, it's been awarded every year for the best long distance mountain running performance. And this year there were 7 nominees. So there was James Gibson for his 214 Wainwrights. It was the first winter continuous completion. And then less than 4 months later, he repeated it again in a super fast time. And then your American friend, John Kelly's 214 Wainwrights record, where he reduced Sabrina's time by nearly 12 hours. And then Finley Wild's Paddy Buckley round, his solo unsupported record. And then Fiona Pascal's Lake District 24-hour round, where she got the women's record. And Robin Downey's inaugural Martin Moran round, and Kirk Wadsworth's the Cumbrian, the Frog Graham, the Bob Graham, and the Fred Whitten back-to-back. But anyway, the panel of 29 who voted, they voted, Jack, that your solo unsupported Transfers round, where you took 40 minutes off Finley's record, the day after his record, and then 5 weeks later, your Bob Graham round in 12 hours 23, reducing Killian's time by a massive 28 minutes. For that, you have been awarded the coveted Long Distance Award.
And here it is.
Here it is.
Oh my God! Wow!
We're so pleased to be able to present this to you virtually.
Oh my God!
We were on it 2 years ago, and now you've got it. I don't know how we'll get it to you. Maybe we won't. But anyway, here it is, and we're so delighted that you've won it.
Oh my God! Yeah, thank you. I'm so honored. Yeah. I'm honored, in going over there and kind of everybody coming out. I mean, that was even if I didn't get the records, and didn't get this award, it was all just, it was so worthwhile, but I'm touched. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, like I say, thank you from everybody here at the festival for agreeing to do this. It's been fascinating to talk to you. I could talk to you for hours longer, so I'm sorry, unfortunately we can't. We'll have to get you over to the festival next time you're over here. So Jack Kuenzle, winner of FRA Long Distance Award 2022. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Sweet, thank you. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
What a guy.
What a guy. An inspiration. Really, really nice guy as well as an amazing runner.
Yeah.
Fantastic.